What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. We're just a couple weeks away from E3 2018, the Electronic Entertainment Expo. This is when all the big studios come out and reveal all the secret projects they've been working on, and this is really one of the most exciting times of year. But let's be honest, 2017 was a little bit light. It was an E3 that didn't really stun us, which leads me to believe that this one could be absolutely mind-blowing. So let's dive deep and try and contain our hype for a bit, and really try and think of the coolest stuff that could possibly be here on my picks of the top 10 gaming predictions for E3 2018. Number 10. Doom 2. Bethesda's head of marketing and general PR guy is a dude named Steve Hines, and he seems pretty cool. He always likes to talk about gaming and really seems into this entire art form. Well, lately he's been dropping hints that we may be seeing a sequel to a game that was recently rebooted, which instantly makes me think Doom 2. The one that came out in 2016 was absolutely amazing. It was bloody as hell, super fast, and didn't even bother putting in a reload button because they knew that all we wanted was really quick, brutal action. I would be so happy to see this come back already so soon, especially if we're getting one version for every single console. That way everybody can enjoy this gory good fun. Number 9. Super Smash Bros. Switch. As of the writing of this script, we know almost nothing about this game. We have some knowledge that it exists, but we don't really have any more information than that. We don't know if it's a port, a new game, or just some fresh weird project. Personally though, I think for sure that Super Smash Bros. Switch is a huge, completely new thing. And part of the reason I think that is because Nintendo has now come out and said that Smash Brothers is going to be their huge focus of their entire conference at E3. Which leads me to the idea that this is probably going to be them showing off a ton of characters. Maybe as much as half of the entire roster being revealed. In fact, they've even stated that it's going to be playable on the show floor. This would be fantastic and possibly help sell millions of more Switches. Number 8. Shadows Die Twice. Ever since Dark Souls 3 came out, fans like me have been closely watching every little tiny thing that From Software does, just to try and get a hint as what's next. We know that they're hard at work doing something, but precisely what isn't clear. However, last June, they gave us an 11-second teaser of a mysterious title that just said, Shadows Die Twice. Now, there has been a lot of speculation as to what these brief images and shadows mean, but I think that despite all this confusion, it's pretty obvious that this could be Bloodborne 2. The first one sold like crazy, and I think that they want to do something else in that universe. I will say, whatever this morphs into, I'm sure it's going to be just as epic as every other project by From Software. Number 7. Perfect Dark. If you're a younger fan of shooters, there's a chance you've never heard of this series, but back in the day, it was massive. These games were all about having really tight controls and silly settings to just try and blast each other apart. It seems like they're trying to restart this franchise, though, to go back to its roots and bring it up to the modern day. There have been rumblings that they've approached the Coalition, the Microsoft studio that recently worked on Gears of War, to make a new Perfect Dark. Since it's this team working on it, I feel like that there's a good chance that we could just have a freaking third-person shooter version of Perfect Dark, and I'm really excited to see what that would actually play like. The possibilities of what maps will work like and what guns we have are nearly endless. Number 6. Death Stranding gameplay. Now, for this entry, I'm specifically focusing on the fact that this will be gameplay shown, because at this point, we have no idea what Death Stranding really is. While Hideo Kojima in the past has made all sorts of weird, mysterious games, this one is even more cryptic than usual. We really have no idea what the heck this even is. Although personally, I do believe that it's going to turn out to be a horror game with strange survival elements woven into it. Whatever it is though, I just want to see someone pick up a controller and actually walk around in the first level. Give us a chance to see what this is actually supposed to mean, and tell me at least a rough release date. Number 5. Borderlands 3. All the games in this series are the perfect example of managing to combine two really weird things into something that just functions so well. Borderlands is all about shoot and loot fun and co-op. Joining up with your friends to earn millions of guns, blast giant demons, and have some laughs. This newest one, the details have been very vague, but we do know it exists. Gearbox has come forward and even shown off some tech demonstrations about how they're working on the technology behind the scene, but we still don't know what it is. I think that they're going to do a giant stage demo this year. They're going to come out and show us all the characters and really kind of show us why this is actually worth coming back to after Borderlands has disappeared for so many years. Whatever it is, let's be honest, we're all going to buy it on day one just for the hilariously good combat. Number 4. The Last of Us Part 2. The PlayStation 4 recently passed 80 million units sold. It's a console that just keeps moving, and part of the reason for that is that its exclusives are simply top-notch. The Last of Us is arguably one of the greatest games ever made, and this sequel is hotly anticipated. However, we haven't really seen too much on it. While the teasers they've done are certainly enticing and get me very hyped, I still want to know where exactly it's at. How far along is this project? There have been some rumblings that it's supposed to come out in 2019, so I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to have to come out in a big way. Since this is going to be a press conference and mostly just long segments of trailers, I think that whatever we see is probably going to be pre-recorded and not a live display, but I do think that there's a very good chance that we're going to see Ellie and Joel out in full force to show us why we should love Sony's console. Number 3. Metroid Prime 4. When Nintendo took the stage last year for E3, we didn't really know what to expect. They've kind of been the underdog these last couple of years until making a massive comeback with the Switch, so I think that they want to keep that momentum going. Last year, all they showed us was the title Metroid Prime 4 and told us that it is in development. Well, I think that they want to try and change that, to give us some real morsels of information to make us more hungry for the final product. Now, I don't think that this will be playable on the floor or even too much of it shown, but I have a feeling that they're going to give us a bigger reveal to give us a nice chunk of new content. My prediction will be that we'll see Samus Aran, we'll see her fighting the big new boss, and really show off at least one massive new power to show us that this is not the Metroid we know. This is probably going to be trying to reinvent it and use the new hardware of the Switch for all of its potential. Number 2. Final Fantasy 16. Of all the stuff on this list that's based in rumors and speculation, this is one that's just trying to be my own educated guess. We do know for a fact that Square Enix has recently created a new division just for taking on a giant new project, but what it is a little bit more loose. We have no real hints as to what it could be, but I personally think that it is definitely Final Fantasy 16. There have been a lot of rumors going around that they're really trying to jump headfirst into the next project because it's going to take 3 or 4 years to make at minimum. So I'm totally fine waiting, but more than anything, I think that Square Enix is trying to give us that big hype to push us forward and keep Final Fantasy fans happy. So I fully expect that they're going to come out on stage and show us at least a nice tease of it. Not just a logo, really show us what Final Fantasy 16 is going to be about. It's fully possible that what we see is just a redo of that old tech demo called Agnes Philosophy. This is a really weird type of thing with a mix of modern setting and old school magic, and it seems like the direction they want to take this series. Final Fantasy 15 had freaking cars, giant mechs, and people flying around using spells, and it looks like 16 could follow in those footsteps, creating another action RPG that stays close to the Final Fantasy heart and soul. Number 1. New BioShock. Ever since Ken Levine, the director of BioShock, stepped away from the project, people have been a little bit lost. Kind of curious what could possibly be coming up next. Because these games up until now existed solely in his head. The creatures, the monsters, the scares and thrills all were because of him and his amazing team. So where do they go from here? There have been a lot of rumors and even a couple leaks saying that they are in fact making a new BioShock. So I'm going to theorize that this is going to be a total reinvention, going to a different age and a different look. That way it doesn't feel like they're just trying to capitalize on Mr. Levine's work. Instead, taking the name we know and doing something with a totally different twist. If I had to just take a complete shot in the dark, I would say that it's going to be in the distant future this time. They're going to abandon the creepy past and instead try something that's a more dark and messed up future. Maybe something like a space station on the moon, but something that has that nice cool aesthetic, making it still seem like we're stuck in the most messed up part of the 40s, while in the distant future, having to deal with maybe evil clones and questioning your own identity in all new ways. While this is just speculation, I do think that it's very much a strong chance, and my hype levels are off the charts. For that reason, I'm awarding this my pick as the #1 coolest guess as to what we'll see at E3 2018. Did your favorite guess not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Hey, do me a favor, if you have not subscribed, definitely do that. We're getting so close to 100,000 subscribers, it is blowing my mind. So yes, share a video, make sure your friends subscribe, and hopefully I'll be celebrating that 100K ever so soon. Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.